Most AI startups, well, the reality is they often don't make it. They can burn through
Yeah.
millions of dollars, often for ideas, maybe prototypes that aren't even finished. But what if there was a different path, a kind of hidden blueprint maybe, for building something actually profitable? I mean, a business starting at maybe 12, 13,000 a month, but then scaling all the way to 5 million. And the key is profitable from day one.
Exactly. It's not just a concept. It's a genuine real-world blueprint. And it completely flips that traditional startup playbook, just turns it upside down. It's really about building a business that makes sense from the get-go.
Welcome everyone to the deep dive. Today we're digging into this model called the leveraged agency. It's a fascinating approach. Seems really practical, not just, another buzzword. It's a guide for building an AI business that's actually highly profitable. And the core idea, it seems to be about focusing on real customer problems first, not just chasing the shiniest new tech because it's cool.
That's absolutely it. And we're going to walk you through the whole journey today. We'll unpack the three main phases, right? Starting with that manual foundation, then the AI transformation bit, and finally, how you scale it up with different tiers. Plus, we'll get into some really crucial stuff like why building in public is so powerful and how to avoid the common traps, the ones that trip people up.
It really does sound like a fundamental shift.
Oh,
Okay, let's
yeah.
unpack this. So when we think about AI startups, usually the picture is, well, I call it the Silicon Valley mirage. You imagine these secret labs, right? Founders trying to raise massive VC rounds, burning cash for years, maybe chasing some unicorn idea. It feels like this huge gamble, and honestly, like 90% just fail. And even the ones that succeed, the founders often end up with just a tiny slice of the pie after all that dilution. It's tough.
Oh, completely. That old way. For a lot of founders, it's just broken. This leveraged agency model is, well, it's a smarter path, more sustainable. It's not about building some cool new hammer and then desperately looking for a nail. No, it's about finding someone with a real headache, a persistent, annoying problem. And then you carefully, methodically create the perfect aspirin for that specific pain.
That framing really helps clarify it. So the core philosophy is genuinely customers first, AI second. You don't just jump into coding some complex AI hoping someone wants it. Instead, you start with the customer, find their most painful, maybe boring, everyday problem. Then you actually roll up your sleeves, solve it manually first. That way you learn everything, right? All the little details, the edge cases. Then, only then, do you bring in AI. Build a system to deliver that same solution, just better, faster, more profitably. So the AI isn't the product itself. It's more like the delivery system, a really efficient one.
And this whole approach gives you like 5 huge, almost unfair advantages. First, profitable from month 1. Seriously. You get paid to learn, making real money, solving real problems. Second, you get real customer validation. You're working with paying clients, so you know for sure you're building something people actually need. Third, you keep your equity. Own 100% of your business. You build wealth for you, not just VCs. Fourth, way less risk. Your business is built on demand you've already proven with your manual service, cuts down the failure chance big time. And fifth, scalable power. The AI becomes this amazing force multiplier. One person can do the work of a whole team. You can handle way more clients with the same effort.
So it really changes the risk-reward calculation for starting something new.
Yeah, it means solving actual problems pays off, and fast. Grounded in reality.
That makes perfect sense. So the core takeaway here is getting paid to validate your idea and build something the market actually wants.
Exactly. Paid validation, reduced risk, keeps you in control.
Okay, so moving into phase 1, the manual foundation. This feels, really counterintuitive, especially if you come from tech. The idea that for the first 6 months you have to do the boring manual stuff yourself. It's like building a skyscraper, right? You don't start with the fancy windows. You start with digging the foundation. It's dirty work, maybe invisible, but absolutely essential. You have to deeply understand the ground you're building on the market, the client's real pain, the process with all its messy bits.
That foundation is everything. And your first job. Find the perfect boring task. You're hunting for that soul-crushing work, the repetitive stuff businesses hate doing and will happily pay to offload. And it needs to meet 4 criteria, okay? 1, high pain point. Nobody on the client's team wants to touch it. 2, universal demand. Lots of businesses need this done. 3, repetitive and rule-based, so it's predictable, something you can automate later. And 4, clear deliverables, success is obvious, easy to measure.
And there are just so many examples hiding right there, aren't there? Things like managing complex insurance forms or tedious invoice processing, data entry, or managing online reviews, pulling data from PDFs into Salesforce.complex customs paperwork. Even just converting messy PDF bank statements into clean Excel files, that's a good one. Extracting key data from contracts, too. It's amazing how much value is locked up in these everyday tasks.
Totally. And the execution plan for this phase, it's pretty structured. 0 to a profitable service. Step 1 is the setup. Takes maybe a week or two. You pick one boring task, create a simple service package, maybe $500 to $2,000 a month. And here's the key. Sell the outcome, not your time. They're buying clean data, not your hours. Then, months 1 to 3, that's the acquisition. Goal, get your first 5 to 10 clients. Real-world validation. And as you work, document everything. Every single step, every weird edge case, everything. Finally, month 3 to 6 is the documentation. This is where the real IP gets built. You become like a process detective. You create a perfect battle-tested standard operating procedure, an SOP, your blueprint, honestly. That SOP is probably the most valuable thing you build in this whole phase.
And the goals for phase 1 seem pretty clear. You're aiming for what, $1,000 to $5,000 in monthly recurring revenue, MRR, plus 5 or more happy clients, that perfect SOP, and profit margins over 40%. Healthy numbers.
Yeah, and a great real-world example, there's this service, bank statement converter. Does one simple, boring thing, turns messy PDF bank statements into clean Excel files, solves a huge pain for accountants, small businesses, super clear value, and that simple service reportedly doing over $40,000 a month in revenue. Wild, right?
You know, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself when trying to automate some of these nuanced processes, but having that meticulous SOP really does help anchor things. So, okay, you've got the solid manual foundation, you've got the SOP. The next logical step is bringing in the AI.
Exactly. That's how you scale it. Automate that manual work.
This sounds incredibly disciplined, starting manually. What's the single biggest mistake people make here before even touching AI?
Probably automating too early, or picking a task that isn't really that painful or repetitive for the client. Skipping the homework.
Right, so really resisting that tech urge and doing the manual work first to truly learn is critical. Don't automate too soon. Okay, phase 2, the transformation. Months, say 7 to 12. This feels like where the real leverage kicks in. You've got a profitable service run by humans and that perfect SOP blueprint. Now it's the industrial revolution for your business. You start replacing the manual work with AI robots.
That's the perfect analogy. The AI integration is all about building those robots. First, you choose your tools. You assemble your AI team, right? Maybe you specialize tools like conversational AI agents for customer interactions or platforms for complex data processing, data extraction. You might use Claude or Cursor for some custom code if needed. And then you need a central nervous system, something like Zapier or N8N to connect everything, make the workflows run. Then, step 2, teach the robots. You literally mirror your SOPs using AI. You take your documented manual steps and turn them into automated AI workflows. Start with the most repetitive bits. But crucially, and it's important, you maintain human oversight. Quality control is key during the switch. You're basically the manager of this new robot factory, making sure everything's perfect, constant improvement.
And this is where the economics get really interesting. The new economics. The power of automation. Let's look at those numbers.
Yeah, and here's the golden rule. Keep your pricing the same. Don't lower it just because AI is doing the work. Think about it. Manual phase, maybe you have 5 clients at $1,000 a month. That's $5,000 revenue. Maybe 40% margin, so $2,000 profit. Okay, now the AI phase. Your automated system can handle, say, 50 clients easily. With the same effort, maybe less, that's $50,000 in revenue. But now, because AI does the heavy lifting, your margin jumps, maybe 80% or more. Suddenly, that's potentially $40,000 in monthly profit. Massive difference.
And the key insight there is you're selling the outcome, not the labor. Customers don't actually care how you do it. They pay for consistent, reliable results. As long as the quality stays high or even improves, they're happy. They're not buying your time.
Whoa. Okay, imagine scaling from 5 to 50 clients with basically the same personal effort. That's like one person suddenly becoming an entire department overnight. It's just a totally different scale.
Yeah, what's really fascinating is your value to the customer stays high, maybe even increases, but your cost to deliver just plummets. That transformation is huge. But what's the trickiest part of keeping that human oversight effective as AI takes over more tasks?
Probably the continuous fine-tuning, making absolutely sure the AI handles all the weird edge cases just as reliably as your expert human self did. Constant vigilance.
So it's about constant calibration, ensuring AI reliability matches human expertise, especially on the tricky parts. All right, phase 3. You've perfected your automated system for one task. Now it's time to expand, right? Scale beyond that first service. This is where you build it into a bigger empire, maybe.
Exactly. We call it the 3-tiered empire. It's about creating smart, diverse revenue streams. So tier one, that's your Michelin star service. High touch enterprise clients. Think $5,000 to $25,000 a month. White glove treatment, custom integrations, dedicated human support. For the big guys, Fortune 500s. Then tier two, the fast casual option. Self-serve platform, much lower price, maybe $100 to $500 a month. Standard dashboard, automated onboarding, email support only, built for volume, super scalable. And tier three, wholesale ingredients, basically API access, usage-based pricing like 10 cents to $1 per transaction. You let other developers build your AI's capability right into their own stuff. Pure tech play.
And there's this underlying compounding AI effect, too, which is pretty amazing. Your core AI system gets smarter every month, almost for free, right? Because the base models underneath it, like GPT-5, Claude 4.1, they're constantly improving. So your service gets better, more capable, but your costs don't necessarily go up. That's a huge advantage.
Yeah, and this whole tiered approach leads to a pretty clear growth path. A conservative forecast might look like end of year one, 25K MRR, end of year 1.5, maybe 50K MRR, end of year two, hitting $100K MRR. And by the end of year three, you could be looking at $400K plus MRR. That's over a $5 million annual run rate. Solid growth.
Which brings us back to something you mentioned earlier, building in public. This becomes absolutely critical for growth at this stage. Like, content creation isn't just marketing anymore. It's the main way you get customers. Your business is the content.
Think of it like a reality show about your business. Your content is the weekly episode. You solve one problem publicly, show exactly how you do it step by step, transparently. That naturally pulls people in. You need a mix, right? A content matrix, daily jabs, short, valuable stuff, quick tips, process breakdowns, behind-the-scenes bits, and weekly right hooks, deeper dives, case studies, client wins, maybe even transparent revenue numbers.
And that creates this powerful flywheel effect.
Yeah.
Your recurring revenue pays for more content, which attracts more clients, which generates more revenue. It feeds itself.
Yeah, if you connect the dots, the content isn't just marketing on the side, it is the growth engine.
Building in public feels, well, pretty exposed. What's the biggest benefit and maybe the hardest part of doing that consistently?
Huge upside is trust. And you get amazing direct feedback. The hard part, just the relentless consistency it demands, day in, day out.
Got it. So it builds incredible trust and feedback loops, but requires serious daily commitment.
Okay, let's talk endgame. The real long-term power here seems to be becoming a multi-preneur, not just running one business, but a whole portfolio.
Absolutely. Your first successful business.
Yeah.
That creates your franchise blueprint. You haven't just built a business, you've built a repeatable system. You now have a proven way to find opportunities, the tech setup for deploying AI agents fast, content systems that work, operational knowledge. You've got the playbook. And with that playbook, you can basically launch new franchises in totally different areas, creating multiple income streams. The plan looks like: year one, master one task, scale it to $50 plus MRR. Year two, launch number two in a different vertical. Aim for combined $100K plus MRR. Year three and beyond, add a third, maybe even acquire small manual agencies and plug them into your AI system. Goal, maybe $500K plus in combined annual profit across the portfolio. That's serious.
And this model allows for the dividend strategy, which is totally different from VC-backed startups always reinvesting. Here, you're profitable from month one, so you have options. Pay yourself real dividends, improve your lifestyle, fund new ventures from profits, keeping 100% equity, maintain flexibility, avoid that crazy growth at all cost pressure. And it diversifies your risk across different businesses.
Makes sense. And practically, the tech stack involves things like workflow automation tools, Gumloop, Zapier, Make, plus AI like Claude, GPT-4, business infrastructure like Airtable, Stripe, Intercom, Notion, and maybe no-code, low-code tools like Bubble, Webflow, Retool for building things out.
Exactly. And for finding those initial boring tasks, market research is key. Digging into Reddit, Facebook groups, LinkedIn, looking for where people are complaining loudly about tedious work. Remember the criteria: high pain, big market, repetitive, clear outcome. Find that universal groan.
And like any good system, there are ways to mess it up. The operator's manual, the 5 cardinal sins to avoid.
Yep, gotta watch out for these. 1, choosing tasks that are too complex right at the start. Keep it simple. 2, automating too early. Cannot stress this enough. Do it manually first. Learn it inside out. 3, raising prices just because you automated. No. Keep prices stable. Take the profit margin win. 4, neglecting content. It's not optional. Gotta commit daily. It's your growth engine. And 5, trying to be everything to everyone. Master one task, one industry first. Focus. Don't spread thin.
What really stands out about this whole model is
just how clear the roadmap is. It feels tangible, executable.
of those 5 sins, if someone could only avoid one, which is the absolute killer for this model,
Automating too early? Definitely. It completely undermines your understanding and your validation right from the start. Fatal mistake.
So that foundational manual work is truly non-negotiable. Rushing automation just breaks the whole thing. Okay, let's recap the big idea here. This leveraged agency model. It really is a blueprint for immediate profit and scalable AI growth. It flips the usual startup script completely. Start with real customer pain, solve it manually to learn deeply, then automate for huge margins and keep all your equity. It's all about delivering reliable outcomes.
Yeah, it honestly beats the traditional model on speed, capital needed, and especially risk. Your real competitive edge isn't just the tech, it's the data you gather, the process expertise you build, and the authority that comes from sharing it all through content. Sam Altman talks about the era of the idea guy, this
Yeah.
model. It shows you how to actually execute those ideas profitably, practically.
And the window of opportunity for these AI services, it feels wide open right now. The tools are there, they're powerful, but most businesses, big or small, they just haven't figured out how to use them effectively yet.
And that gap, yeah, that gap right there, that's your opportunity.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. What's that soul-crushing, tedious task, businesses hate doing? What could you tackle first? Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, I hope you found some valuable nuggets in there.
Until next time, out Tiro Music.